Hello there. It looks like President Macron of France has just scuppered the EU-Australia trade talks, and all because his country makes substandard submarines and nobody wants them. Oh dear, how sad. Never mind. As per usual, please like, subscribe and comment below, and when subscribing please do press that little bell, but also select the all option, or you won't get any notifications when I publish a new video. The Macron fallout from the Aukus submarine deal just keeps giving. And it's like Christmas come early in the Taylor household today, with news that the French Premier has just made a laughingstock of himself and the EU. And who needs Eurosceptic parties across Europe to bring down the European Union when Macron is doing such a splendid job of it himself? Marvellous. Macron's already pulled his ambassadors out of the US and Australia over the Aukus deal and lost a fighter jet contract with Switzerland. He's fuming. So what's he done now? Only gone and tried to derail the EU trade deal talks with the Australians. So much for a united EU, all in solidarity together, etc. With the French Europe Minister Clement Beaune saying that for the French to engage with the Australian government after having their submarine deal torn up would be unthinkable. Keeping one's word is the condition of trust between democracies and between allies. So it is unthinkable to move forward on trade negotiations as if nothing had happened with a country in which we no longer have trust, he said. And as every EU 27 member state has a veto on EU trade deals, then it looks like France has just put the mockers on any EU-Australia trade deal for the foreseeable future. Surely someone in the EU is going to pull Macron aside and tell him to grow up and stop digging a hole for himself, and for France, and for the EU. But I wonder if any of them have the gall. Pun intended. And hopefully someone on the UK side will send Macron a nice, sturdy, British-built JCB to help speed up the process of digging holes. We can be helpful, you know. And if this is a cry for attention by Macron to try and take control and get the EU and the other 26 EU member states to gang up with him against the US, the UK and Australia, it will backfire. But there is also another aspect to this, and that is the Comprehensive and Progressive Agreement for Trans-Pacific Partnership, or CPTPP. This is an extensive trading bloc of 11 countries, including Australia and others like Canada, Japan and Singapore, that the UK is interested in joining up to. Because CPTPP membership would, according to our government, put the UK at the centre of a network of countries committed to free trade and to the global rules underpinning international commerce. And CPTPP membership would not clash with our current trade deals. But there had also been talk that the European Union wants to investigate membership of the CPTPP. Although the French, with their new anti-Australia stance, might have just put pay to that one too. Although for the EU to join the CPTPP might be impossible anyway, due to the way the single market and customs union are constructed. After all, it would probably require CPTPP to join the EU and agree to be controlled from Brussels and under the jurisdiction of the ECJ. Now France has got form in pulling the rug from under EU trade deals. Not only was it Macron that did the dirty with the Mercosur deal last year, it was his predecessor François Hollande that pulled the plug on the US-EU TTIP trade deal in 2016. Now I've got to say that if Macron continues as he has done for the last couple of days, then someone needs to put him forward for an honorary knighthood for services to UK foreign policy and trade. I mean, he's put so much work into it. But it doesn't stop there. Macron is also demanding that France be compensated for losing out on the submarine deal it had with Australia, with the government spokesman Gabriel Attal telling French TV station BFM yesterday, "Obviously there will be a need for compensation. This is the work that will be done now because we need clarification. We need to exchange with our partners to see how they intend to leave this contract, since there are clauses which have been signed." But this contract, signed back in 2016, has been in trouble for well over a year, and Canberra was already looking to get out of it. First, there was a data breach by the French company involved, DCNS, regarding its work with India, where 22,000 documents about the combat capability of India's Scorpene submarines were hacked. Not a good confidence booster. Then the Australian project costs nearly doubled to about €56 billion, without the maintenance costs being factored in. And then came the delays. But there was also the matter of the French wanting the whole hog to themselves and not wanting any of the work to be conducted in Australia. And there were also question marks over hull welding quality and excessive noise when the subs travel at speed. And what would the Australians get in return for all of this? A new submarine fleet that was only a very marginal improvement on what they already had. So pulling the plug sounds the best option, and it also sounds to me like compensation should be flowing the other way, from France to Australia. And as for the French claims that they had built up a relationship of trust with Australia over their submarine deal, well, that one's for the birds. And it doesn't stop there. We now hear that Paris has cancelled a ministerial defence meeting this week between the French Defence Minister Florence Parly and the UK Defence Secretary Ben Wallace. But meanwhile, Boris Johnson was flying over to the US for a big UN meeting and a tete-a-tete with President Sleepy Joe Biden, no doubt to beef up on this Aukus arrangement. And during the flight, Boris spoke to journalists and was effusive in his praise for France. "Our love for the French is ineradicable," he said. Someone's been reading their thesaurus, haven't they? "We are very, very proud of our relationship with France, and it is of huge importance to this country," he said, adding, "British troops, French troops, side by side. There are no two sets of armed forces that are more capable of integrating together and working side by side." Although the current French president's hot-headed love for political own goals does make them a bit of a liability as an ally at the moment. Just ask Brussels as it tries to salvage the EU-Australia trade deal. And now consider that the EU is still after a big free trade deal with the United States as well. Will Emmanuel Macron put a French spanner in that one as well? I bet every other EU 27 leader, as well as the EU Commission and EU Parliament, are hoping against hope that Macron is ditched by the French electorate in the presidential elections next year. But they might end up with Le Pen instead. President Macron is proving to be one very large loose cannon rolling about below decks, threatening to blow a hole below the waterline of both France and the EU. So what's your opinion on Macron's immense prowess for digging holes for himself? Please like and comment below.